Hello, my darlings. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is story 3 and 4 in my December daily. Hopefully already do stories 1 and 2, and we're just catching up. And honestly, for story number 3, I am simply not reinventing the wheel. I loved Ali Edwards' use of this paper because for using a 6x8, I found it hard anyway to see how I was going to use it, and I've seen people cut it into strips. I also thought about making it like one big tag, sort of, and having it be like a flip up somewhere. But Ali truly broke it down into strips and cut those like in, thirds or so, and just had them over her photo. And similarly, her story was about Christmas lights. And my story will be too, only because we truly did get new Christmas lights this year. I splurged finally and got permanent lights done to my house for the holidays. I took a picture of it when it was all white, because with it being like red and green and all the things I can do with it, sometimes the pictures looked too, like, I hate to say it, like cartoony for a picture. I mean, I hope my neighbors appreciate my holiday, but like literally the brand is called Govee, Govee, Govee. There's an app, and you can do any color that you ever want. You can even, like, as specific as the app will let you, like alternate colors, or however you want, 5, red and then 5 pink or whatever. Like, you can even do that. And then there's a whole like folders full of the festive colorways already. So there are like 3 different versions of a Christmas one. There's Valentine's Day. There's like 4 versions for Halloween. It's fantastic. And I've wanted them forever. And obviously we did it this time. So similar story, similar concept for her. The only thing I will say I will modify is that she made hers kind of like an overlay with the flip on her thing. And I just feel like I'm just going to have it be on a transparency and have the strips too, but that way nothing will be directly on the photo itself, and everything will be like an overlay. The flip part was awesome too. I just feel like I don't want to have it flip. Like, I just want to be able to turn the page. And so a little piece of transparency will do that. So let's get cutting it. So in case you haven't seen Ali Edwards, I'll if I remember, I will leave her video linked down below so that you can view it. But I'm pretty much doing the same thing. Okay, so we are scrapbooking, like I said, the lovely Ali Edwards. And I think I mentioned it in my intro. I just like the idea of, like, always killing the kit. And this paper was going to be hard to use regardless. And when she showed that as her day 1, I was like, brilliant. And I have like the same story to tell, because I got new house lights, like Dunsky, like screenshot, let's make it work. Let's do it. So yeah, for me, okay, cutting them into strips, not a problem. This was also the same way I think I referenced Ali's project herself, and how she had her journaling on a piece of vellum as well. Like I said, the only thing I was trying to do was not have it like a flip up motion for the photo, even though that would work too, but just rather like an acetate overlay over it. And of course, what happens, this is like the last one I have, and there is a little bit of a smudge moment happening on it that wasn't coming off with it, so it might have been, and probably that's why it is the last one. I just didn't want to use it, and I was like, great, of course I have to add it to my Amazon cart, and I'm not stalling trying to make this page, so we're gonna use it. And luckily some of the banners or the strips cover it up anyway, so it was not a big problem. So I'm just kind of getting the placement, and I'm trying to decide, like, do I want the journaling to cover up my house, or do I want the journaling to cover up my house, like, to the left, And I decided to go right where, yeah, this is where it ends up, like, on this side, because I was like, at least it's not, like, over my front door, So I was still just trying to have, like, parts of my photo be seen right through it. That was the only thing I was going with or watching for. So I briefly had said, too, like, I got the Govee permanent house lights. I purchased mine on Amazon. I do know, I've heard neighbors say that they picked theirs up at Costco. So do with that search as you want. For my 2-story house, I had to get the 200-foot uh, length of lights. They do come in 50, 100, 150, 200. And then someone came and installed it. And it took about 4 hours at my house. So really, it was just the labor that was the most costly. But like I said, this was like a gift that I postponed getting last year because it was too expensive then. And now, not to say like I guess so many people are doing it. It pretty much was half or even more than half off from last year's quotes. So that helped tremendously for me not to be like so worried about, our budget and stuff. And so this acetate too, I remember as I'm punching holes in this one wasn't the best. It was kind of thinner. So anytime I punched holes, it just kind of got all chewed up. And so my next batch of transparencies will be a little bit of a thicker weight in order to not be so flimsy with a hole punch. And that way they can just kind of get punched through. And so it worked out well. And I had enough space because what I had to keep in mind also, and I should have remembered to watch Allie's, is because the ways hers were, that's why hers in her album is extended about a 1/4 inch or maybe more, 1/2 inch, because she didn't leave room for holes. And if she punched holes on hers while it was a flip motion, it wouldn't have worked. So she has it on like a clear page attacher, and it juts out from her album, rest of the album pages a little bit. And so it helped that mine was a flip, but I still needed to make room for the hole. So that's all I'm just telling you in case you do want to use this one. So I needed to do something with the back. She too had done some, I think, heat embossing with gold in some light pattern. And I took out this candy cane one, and I have Astro Paste with the red coloring. And this turned out so good. So I took the time to kind of scrape it through. It's like texture paste. All of them, and I let them dry as much as it needed. I made sure not to disturb or kind of mess with the process of this because I wanted it to stay as crisp as possible. So this was a little time consuming, but the end result is really good. These glitter pastes are really good. If you don't have any of these Astro Paste, get some because they're fun. And so I have used them on my title page, the gold one through a polka dot stencil, and now the red one through this candy cane stencil. And so I see myself definitely breaking out these pastes again in the future of December Daily to add beautiful elements like this. And this candy cane one is like a perfect size for it too. Like you always got a couple full of the full ones through it, so it's like an inch long strip. Worked beautifully, and they dried. And so I went ahead and did all my journaling. So that's sometimes what happens with me in December Daily too, is my journaling holds me up. Because as you can see on that 8x10 piece of paper, which is the MACO clear sticker paper, I like to type out a lot of journaling. And so that right there, I think, is days 1 through 4. So hence also why I didn't post yet on my Instagram days 1 and 2 is because I didn't have the journaling done. And I'm not going to show photos of it. So then I have all the journaling done now, and now I can put all of it down on my projects. So you saw me do some heat embossing there with the number 3. That is a former number set from Allie Edwards' shop as well. I can't remember what collection it was. Might have been like A Week in the Life or something like that. But just a clear, like sans serif kind of font. And it worked out great. And I had like this a little bit go off the little edge of the bunted banner at the bottom because at the top, I think then my journaling wouldn't have fit, and I didn't want to cut another piece of vellum, so I just made it work. That's the motto, was like get it done, and move along. And one time, and I am stapling them. I was gonna think of some of the glue, but I was like, tiny attacher, and if it happens to be too frictionful on my photo, que sera, sera. I thought about doing some hand stitching, like some French knots on my photo itself, like to imitate like the lights of in the photograph. But I did attempt it. This is my second printout of this photo. They were terrible. Like my French knots were awful. See, this is me. I'm showing you a little bit. Like I attempted to do it, and they just got knotted up twice, and two were perfect, and the next 2 were like big balls of knots. It was just, I thought I was versed in it after going to see Paige Evans. I'm not. I need practice. So I might not do any like French knot stitching, but I may go in with maybe the chain stitch or the back stitch instead. But I gave it a try. It just didn't work. So let's move along. So we will start for my story 4, which will be all about visiting Santa Claus. So we did visit Santa the day after Thanksgiving. Yeah, I think so. So like a couple days ago, and we went with both sets of grandparents in order to make it like even more memorable. So my daughter, the story with visiting Santa this year. So last year, um, we went with the Amazon store catalog, right? And she had circled everything she wanted, and she bought the catalog. And I let her, and bless Santa's heart, he listened to her and with patience. Flip through the Amazon catalog and explain everything that she was on, what was on her wish list, right? So this year we had gotten the Amazon, there was a Walmart, and there was a Target one. So we had three of them that she always like kind of thumbed through and got circles in for things that she would like to receive. And so instead of having her go with three catalogs, I told her to cut it all out, and and make like a little bit of a collage, like on a piece of cardstock. And she took that idea, but she had so many things that she made a little, like a little booklet. Okay, and so that's the story on this, on that will be on vellum soon enough. So the inside flap, this is a page protector 12 by 12 that I cut off the bottom two, so they're 4x6s, and so two pictures are her cutouts that she was talking with Santa with. The journaling is on vellum, and then we got a photo too. So she sat and talked with Santa, and we got a lovely photo, as we do. But then we got both sets of grandparents to sit with Santa and her, and so she has a great photo to mark 2024 with all four grandparents in one photo, which I think is great. I could have hopped in for one of the poses, of course, and I just didn't. I think I went there a little too casual because she had stayed with my in-laws, and they were all dressed all fancy, and I thought I was just like kind of going there to be there and pick her up and bring her home, and I could have sat in with her, but I just opted not to. It's okay. Last year I got a photo with her, so maybe we'll make it an every other year kind of thing. So for the page, you saw me working with some vellum with gold swirls. You saw me scoring the thing. And right now what I'm doing off camera, you saw me add the glitter. So the glitter is right there, called Starry Nights from Spiegelmom Scraps. If it's still in the shop, go pick it up. I encourage you, because she will be closing her shop down as of 2025. These are the last of the sequence packs that I have from her. And I am taking the time, probably off camera, and I'm sewing that pocket shut. And then that believe word is from the main kit, and I will be, there I am with the shaker, I will be gluing it to the outside pocket. I wanted it on the outside just for not to be dimensional in there, and that way the shaker could move freely in there. So we have a whole white and gold thing coming on over here. And then that number 4 is a chipboard element that was from last year, I believe, December Daily. It could be from 2 years ago, but we acquire a set of numbers, and that one is still Allie Edwards. I just don't know which year it was from. And it turned out great. Okay, that will wrap up stories 3 and 4. So we have the scrap lift from the lovely Allie Edwards. Yeah, so we have my house picture right behind it with the lead, and then all of this turned out really good. And then we have the story of going to visit Santa. So I did this little flip out. I cut down the bottom row of this little page insert. So we have her wish list photographed, journaling on vellum, and then the photo with Santa and both sets of grandparents, which is really special. So that is super fun for story number 4. Thank you so much for joining me. Please subscribe if you haven't done so. Give this video a thumbs up. And until next time, everyone, bye.